Do you feel like you're as pretty as Rihanna?
Some women are delusional.
I was trained very well to be a good reporter, and then I immediately fell from grace and started writing lies for Cosmopolitan magazine.
I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10.
When you start betraying the truth, it will come back to haunt you. It will get you in the end.
Because I'm delusional.
No, she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
This is a test.
Oh, yeah.
This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak.
This
Turn it up
is a
a
test.
degree.
This is
Bitch, you
only
ain't
a
seen
test.
anything.
Delusional. Adjective. According to Oxford Dictionary, characterized by or holding idiosyncratic beliefs or impressions that are contradicted by reality or rational argument, typically as a symptom of mental disorder. Mental disorder?
Helen Gurley Brown is a very successful lady who does a kind of frightening thing. She edits a magazine, and in Cosmopolitan magazine every month she tells girls how to get men.
There's a discrepancy, a disparity, between girls and men. There's 6 million more unmarried girls than there are men, so you men are a very precious commodity, and we do tell girls how to go about attracting you.
What do you guys think men want?
We do tell girls how to go about attracting you.
This is Helen Gurley Brown, the once upon a time chief editor of Cosmopolitan magazine, a very influential publication with women as the focal point. And according to Helen Gurley Brown, Cosmopolitan magazine was instructing women on how to have better success at attracting men.
We do tell girls how to go about attracting you.
Well, 50 years after giving that statement, Cosmopolitan magazine is still popular, but marriage is down, divorce is up, and men are saying that women are more clueless than ever before, or, better yet, delusional.
I am the table.
Is Helen Gurley Brown one of the founding mothers of modern delusion?
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
Helen Gurley Brown was the editor of Cosmo. She's the one that took Cosmo and turned it from a general interest magazine into a sex rag. Helen had a favorite slogan embroidered on a little pillow she kept on a love seat in her office, and the slogan said, "Good girls go to heaven, bad girls go everywhere." And at Cosmo, we turned all traditional values upside down. It was good to live with your boyfriend, good to sleep with a married man, good to take the pill, good or at least necessary to have an abortion to get ahead. And all of this in the 1970s, early 1970s, came as a shock to most Americans. If a lot of single women were going to bed with men on the first or second date, they surely weren't talking about it. You couldn't find these people.
Well, you can now. And most of the women who held on to the old traditions find themselves at odds with the post-cosmopolitan women.
That's missing in this community.
No, the women sorry. Now, they may not like me for saying it, but these younger women today, they don't even raise their children. Their children raising them.
I am a traditional woman. I was raised by grandparents, so I'm very old school. I watched my grandpa take care of my grandma, pay all the bills. And what did she do? Cook, clean. Like, she went out of her way to go above and beyond. And I watched her do these kinds of things, cater to him, make food for him. Does that make sense?
So how did we get to the point where so many young women today think to be free is to go to college, get a great degree, have a fantastic job, and be as sexually free as possible? How did those two radically separate movements ever get joined together?
The women who were traditional wives are often frowned upon by the women who bought into the New Age woman type of lifestyle. The Olivia Popes and Scandals, Sex and the Cities, and Insecures promulgated and glamorized the promiscuous woman that most men avoid wifing up, but women still gravitated to it. And some even took it a step further and turned the idea of sexual frivolity into a movement under the guise of empowerment. So for a man to have standards as far as what he expects in a potential wife was now looked at as a patriarchal oppression of a woman's right to autonomy. And if he can't accept you as you are, then the problem is his. But according to Sue Ellen Browder, this division was by design.
The sexual revolution was a very divisive movement. You know, truth, beauty, and goodness unite. And what does evil do? It divides people. It separates us apart. So at Cosmo, we split sex from love. If sex is just for fun, if it feels good, do it. We split sex from marriage. It's okay to live with your boyfriend. We split women from men. If you don't like him, just divorce him. And we split sex from babies. With the take the pill, and if the pill fails, get an abortion. What? Betty Friedan, as I said, was so appalled by Cosmo, she called it quite obscene and quite horrible, and she urged women to boycott the magazine.
So here you had two agendas pitted against one another. Women in one segment of society wanted equal rights, while women in another segment were being sold, dare we say, delusion? In fact, Cosmopolitan magazine would make up stories and pass it off as true account, creating authoritative sources out of thin air, because after all, there was no Google to check the facts back in 1970. So what the godmother of delusion soon realized was that the more that you can lure a woman into delusion, the more likely she is to buy what it is that you're selling. This was Cosmopolitan's tactical approach, all for monetary gain.
Why all of this hijacking of the women's movement? Money. Money. Why was Cosmo so successful? Because it attracted advertisers. Why did it attract advertisers? Because it worked. When a young woman, an insecure young woman, reads these magazines and thinks that she has to have perfume, cosmetics, hair products, beautiful clothes, singles travel.
Women, we want this lifestyle that's not even realistic nowadays. Like, we want men that make more than we do, and we want them to pay all of the bills. But it's like, we all have our nails done, we get our hair dyed, we have makeup, we have all of this stuff that costs money because we want this lifestyle. And I've had girls come on my show and I say, would you date an average guy for companionship, but you would have to go down in lifestyle? And they say, no, we're addicted to lifestyle.
It's all about me. If you can convince a woman that everything is about her, then she has to buy a whole bunch of stuff to make herself so wonderful.
These are the narratives that abound. These are the forces that seek to plant the seeds of doubt and dissatisfaction into the minds of the insecure and impressionable. Whether delusion is the cause or the symptom, there are many men who are fathers. Some of those fathers have daughters. Daughters that have been told to drink from the chalice of delusion and destruction. And so we do our due diligence to clean up the mess that was made, so they may realize that all along,
if inside she knows who she is, she doesn't need all that stuff.
subscribe for part 2 and more content.